The fourth leaf, philosophy, the emperor, the Kabbalion, hidden in plain sight. Last time in episode 1, we talked about the Golden Book of Wisdom. The Golden Book of Wisdom is a book that came from those ancient lands, from the peoples of Atlantis, ancient India, and other prehistory and pre-human civilizations. The book consisted of 78 pages, written on golden leaves by Hermes Trismegistus, hence the name, the Golden Book of Wisdom. This book was compiled and designed by Hermes to preserve the history of the beings that were here before the first human civilizations. It was meant to keep alive the science and history of their worlds, plural and ours. This Golden Book of Wisdom has been kept safe by our brothers and sisters for the past 9,000 years, but our progenitors, before the cataclysm, left us millions of years of their legacy. Master teacher Franz Bardon was the first to give us the first 5 pages of the Golden Book of Wisdom, nearly unfiltered. He was instructed, under the order of divine providence, to give us these first 5 pages, which were Initiation into Hermetics, the practice of magical evocation, the key to the true Kabbalah. He died before he could deliver the remaining 2, and I believe he was murdered, but we'll get into that in the future. There were still 2 books left, or more accurately 2 leaves. A book on philosophy, the 4th page, a book on alchemy, the 5th page, and here we are. There's a misunderstanding about the 4th page, and this is a human misunderstanding. The 4th page is not called the Golden Book of Wisdom. Master teacher Bardon states that because of its philosophical nature, the 4th leaf can be seen as symbolic of the Golden Book of Wisdom, as it covers many aspects of some of the major leaves. So what is this 4th leaf? As with any of the true majors of the past, it is hidden in plain sight for those who truly, and without ulterior motives, seek to see the truth. This is the unfinished manuscript in my copy of Frabato, English edition, 1982. I have been studying the old sciences my entire life, and I recognized this page. It was from the Kabbalion. Let's take a look at all the clues that lead me to what I believe is the 4th leaf. Master teacher says, the 4th page is a book on Hermetic philosophy, and that book was the Kabbalion. While the fragment pages of the 4th leaf are only a few pages long, it was enough for me to recognize the similarities to the Kabbalion. Clue by clue, the Kabbalion connection. This is the front cover of the Kabbalion. Hermetic philosophy is in the title. It was published in 1908. My copy is from 1908, 1 year before Master Teacher Bardon was born. The 4th leaf. Throughout the ages, magic and mysticism have been taught simultaneously and with equal emphasis in the secret schools for the priests. For these 2 basic philosophical outlooks have always been extremely important in Hermetic science and will continue to be so in the future. Magic was once an integral part of all those sciences that developed in the course of time on the material plane, and of everything which concerned this plane. Therefore, all technical knowledge, no matter which field of science, was passed on from master to student at the discretion of the priestly caste. All sciences, among them mathematics, chemistry, physics, and astronomy, were included in the field of magic. Kabbalion. As we have stated, the Hermetists were the original alchemists, astrologers, and psychologists, Hermes having been the founder of these schools of thought. From astrology has grown modern astronomy, from alchemy has grown modern chemistry, from the mystic psychology has grown the modern psychology of the schools. But it must not be supposed that the ancients were ignorant of that which the modern schools suppose to be their exclusive and special property. The 4th leaf. The constructive and destructive activities in the mental body have further extensive spheres of activity, which I will deal with later. The Hermetic should now devote his attention to the spirit, the I, consciousness, that is the personality. I have noted repeatedly that there is no attribute. The Hermetic already knows that will, intellect, and feeling constitute the consciousness of man if they work together. If he reflects upon consciousness, the Hermetic will discover that what is generally called consciousness is actually the personality of man in the truest sense of the word. Kabbalion. Each student is led to see that his consciousness gives him first a report of the existence of his self. The report is, I am. This at first seems to be the final words from the consciousness, but a little further examination discloses the fact that this I am may be separated or split into 2 distinct parts, or aspects, which while working in unison and in conjunction, yet nevertheless may be separated in consciousness. While at first there seems to be only an I existing, a more careful and closer examination reveals the fact that there exists an I and a me. These mental twins differ in their characteristics and nature, and an examination of their nature and the phenomena arising from the same will throw much light upon many of the problems of mental influence. Let us begin with a consideration of the me, which is usually mistaken for the I by the student, until he presses the inquiry a little further back into the recesses of consciousness. A man thinks of his self, in its aspect of me, according as being composed of certain feelings, tastes, likes, dislikes, habits, peculiar ties, characteristics, etc., all of which go to make up his personality, or the self, known to himself and others. The fourth leaf. The fourth tarot card symbolizes the wisdom of man, and therefore it is important that one should learn to know thoroughly, from the magico-mystical point of view, the nature of man, one's own nature, everything one does, and all the functions of one's activities. Know thyself is an important Hermetic axiom which stimulates us to penetrate magically and mystically into the deeper aspects of humankind. Kybalion. The Hermetic teachers impart their instruction regarding this subject by bidding their students examine the report of their consciousness regarding their self. The students are bidden to turn their attention inward, upon the self dwelling within each. Each student is led to see that his consciousness gives him first a report of the existence of his self. The report is, I am. This at first seems to be the final words from the consciousness, but a little further examination discloses the fact that this I am may be separated or split into two distinct parts, or aspects, which while working in unison and in conjunction, yet nevertheless, may be separated in consciousness. Kybalion, and consequently, both religion and philosophy mean to us things having roots in reality, while theology and metaphysics seem like broken reeds, rooted in the quicksands of ignorance, and affording naught but the most insecure support for the mind or soul of man. We do not insist upon our students accepting these definitions. We mention them merely to show our position. At any rate, you shall hear very little about theology and metaphysics in these lessons. The fourth leaf. To avoid any confusion, I will not use the term metaphysics in my further explanations, but will instead stay with the term magic, as the Hermetics did in former times. From the Hermetic point of view, magic is nothing else but a higher metaphysics that deals with powers, matters, and substances of a more subtle nature, but which has an analogous association with the general sciences of today, no matter to which branch of knowledge they may belong. And this is exactly why I believe the fourth leaf is the Kybalion. When you line them up side by side, the parallels are too precise to ignore. Both speak of magic and science as one. Both stress the split of the I and the me within consciousness. Both insist on the Hermetic axiom, know thyself. Even the rejection of metaphysics in favor of true Hermetic practice runs word for word through both texts. It's not coincidence, it's continuity. What Bardon presents as the fourth leaf is the very same teaching repackaged in the Kybalion. Different names, different eras, but one Hermetic current flowing through both. That's why I argue the so-called mystery of the Kybalion's authorship may not be a mystery at all. Its source is right there, hidden in plain sight, in the fourth leaf of the Golden Book of Wisdom. The fifth leaf, Part 1, The Hidden Flame, Alchemy. I wasn't looking for it at first. I was reading Fra Bartolo the Magician, the scene where Fra Bartolo enters the hidden grotto and meets the Brothers of Light. But something about that moment felt familiar. I had read almost the same story years ago, in an older Rosicrucian text called Adventure Among the Rosicrucians, written by Franz Hartmann, one of Bardon's own spiritual forerunners. So I went back to check, and made the comparisons from Fra Bartolo, 1982, English. Most of the brethren had already assembled in the holy temple of the Brothers of Light, and had taken their usual seats. Judging by the astral bodies, every nation and race was represented. Ogaya sat in front of everyone in indescribable magnificence. With the adepts, An Adventure Among the Rosicrucians, 1890, English. I expressed my surprise to see all the various religious systems in the world represented in these Rosicrucian orders, for I had always believed that the Rosicrucians were an eminently Christian order. Fra Bartolo, 1982, English. Fra Bartolo greeted the head of the Brothers of Light with a deep bow, and Ogaya, sitting cross-legged on a small carpet in a grotto, responded with a gesture of blessing. Fra Bartolo was alone with him. The surroundings were illuminated only by a very dim light. The grotto was situated at the foot of a high mountain, but any being of the cosmos who sought to find it would search in vain, for Ogaya had made it visible only to those he wanted to see. With the Adepts, An Adventure Among the Rosicrucians, 1890 English. I followed my weird companion, and soon we regained the path running along the bed of the creek, which flowed tranquilly over a bottom covered with white pebbles. As we approached the mysterious mountain, the stone walls appeared to rise perpendicularly before us, and there was no place visible where any other being but a bird could have ascended. But as we came still nearer, I noticed a rent or break in the side of the wall, opening like a cave or a tunnel. This tunnel we entered, and as we proceeded, I saw that it penetrated the giant wall and led into another valley beyond. Before me was a valley surrounded by mountains of evidently inaccessible height, and this. Frabato, 1982, English. Here, paradise had become reality. Here the highest ecstasy prevailed, and true connection to the divine light. No immature or uninitiated person could linger in this concentrated light. With the Adepts, An Adventure Among the Rosicrucians, 1890, English. This, said the Imperator, is the sanctuary of our temple. In this you cannot enter. If you were to attempt it, the immediate death of your personality would be the consequence. Nor would it serve you even if you were able to enter and live. For in that sanctuary, everything is dark to all who do not bring with them their own spiritual light, the inextinguishable lamp of divine intelligence to illuminate the darkness. Frabato, 1982, English. I carried out initiations under severe oaths. How can I now disclose the holy mysteries to immature men? I have always been especially devoted to silence. How can I now cast pearls before swine and set free that light which will burn all those who are not mature? With the Adepts, An Adventure Among the Rosicrucians, 1890, English. I asked the adept whether I would be permitted to show that book to others, or to have it copied and printed, upon which he replied, "There are at present few people in the world who would be able to comprehend this book to its fullest extent, but there are some who desire to know the truth, and for the sake of these few you may risk to throw pearls before the swine." The Fifth Leaf Part 2, The Book Too Large to Carry. Frabato, I carried out initiations under severe oaths. How can I now disclose the holy mysteries to immature men? I have always been especially devoted to silence. How can I now cast pearls before swine and set free that light which will burn all those who are not mature? And Hartmann, not even subtle, page 128. I asked the adept whether I would be permitted to show that book to others, or to have it copied and printed, upon which he replied, "There are at present few people in the world who would be able to comprehend this book to its fullest extent, but there are some who desire to know the truth, and for the sake of these few, you may risk to throw pearls before the swine." Same flame, same warning, but then I found something else, hidden deeper within Hartmann's text. The narrator is shown a sacred book, kept by the Brotherhood, a book too large and heavy to be taken down the mountain, and which required a special key to read. The book was not intended to be carried away, as it was too large and heavy, and moreover it required a special key to read and understand it. Hartmann, page 129. At the time it might have seemed allegorical, symbolic, but when I tracked down the book he referenced, Secret Symbols of the Rosicrucians, it existed, and I was stunned. The edition I own, printed in 1939, is massive, oversized, exactly as described in Hartmann's vision. It wasn't poetic, it was precise, and when I opened it, there it was, the fifth leaf, right on the title page, a literal emblem of the flame of alchemy, hidden in plain sight. 3 books, 3 eras, 1 hidden flame, now revealed. The original Secret Symbols of the Rosicrucians, first edition, published in German in 1785, even had its title card in color, and as the story itself says, the book was indeed oversized. My 1939 edition stands 17.5 inches tall. Then, jumping forward, my copy of Initiation into Hermetics is from 1962, and when you place them side by side, comparing the fifth leaf published in German in 1785 against the first leaf published in English in 1962, the parallels speak for themselves. So maybe the real treasure isn't a crystal skull or a golden idol. It's a 17-inch tall book hiding in plain sight, carrying the same secrets across centuries. My final thoughts. And to show that nothing is random in the old sciences, here's another card, preserved for us by master teacher Franz Hartmann In magic, white and black. My copy from 1898. As for what number this card carries, or the deeper meaning behind it, that's none of my business. The master teacher himself was only meant to reveal the first 5 pages. The rest was always meant to remain hidden until the right time, or the right hands. The master teacher also said the reason he was given permission to reveal even this much is because souls were arriving on the other side after death, complaining they had no path, because they had never been taught the true mysteries. That was the only reason a glimpse was allowed. And let me make this absolutely clear. As of September 14th, 2025, if I see this card slapped on Amazon or paraded by idiots claiming they've made some grand Franz Bardon discovery, twisting it for profit, I'm not going to be nice about it, and I'm exposing it with extreme prejudice. Thousands upon thousands of our people have been tortured or killed to keep these mysteries pure. So no, you will not trample on their memory. The hustlers already have plenty of other schemes to chase. But this is off limits. These symbols are not trophies, they are keys, and they demand respect. And if there are any true brothers or sisters who still hold the knowledge, by all means, use your skill to reveal to us these mysteries. If we don't, others who have nefarious motives will. We still have the last 2 leaves, and many, many other mysteries to reveal, and they must one day be put into plain and open language, just as the first 3 were. The work is not yet finished, but the path is still before us. The Tipaphone. Mentioned in Frabato and scattered throughout Hermetic and occult literature, the Tipaphone has been the subject of endless speculation for decades. I've watched people guess, argue, and theorize about what it was, or how one could be built, while the master teacher left his description and construction right there, in plain sight. The truth is, if you actually take the time to read and understand, the answers are already there. But you cannot approach sciences like these the way you scroll through 30-second videos and expect to solve the mysteries of the universe. So join me next time, when we open Frabato and uncover exactly what the Tipaphone was, and why the adepts never left its secret to chance.